crypto warriors, changing our world day by day. The way of the crypto warriors, can't rely on the bankers, no way.
Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of chaga coffee. All right, one thing we're looking at silver. Silver is being rigged, obviously, but the technical traders, which I don't agree with, because in a rigged market, technical traders are basically, they walk into the slaughterhouse because the big guys use technical traders to get what they want. But having said that, it seems to work to a certain extent when the big guys aren't really trying to slaughter tech funds. Right now, we are right at the 50-day moving average, below the 200-day moving average and the 100-day moving average. The current 50-day moving average is 23.24. We're right there. It's not a big thing. When the silver price, I hate even talking about technicals because it's all bullshit. But hey, bullshit even works in these markets. You know, if you look for anything, it's all bullshit. So here we go. When silver goes over the 100-day and 200-day moving averages, that's when the technical funds start piling on. And so it goes up a little, and then the commercials come in and short. And they short more and more as it gets higher, and then they do their manipulative slam moves, and boom, the price is slammed down. So right now we're below, in silver, we're below the 50, 100, and 200-day moving averages. So keep an eye on $25.50. That would blow right through all three. That's when you get the spike straight up before they start having to naked short. I assume when it breaks $25.50, it'll jump right to $30, and that's going to be a big one as well. 30, 31, 50, and then over 50, the sky's the limit, as in infinity. That's the sky. Nobody knows what silver's really worth. Instead of waiting to the end to tell you to go buy silver, I'm going to tell you right now, buy your silver. Go to your local coin store. I've been saying this for years. Make relationships with your local coin store because that's where you'll be selling your silver. But if you don't have a local, you can contact Andy Sheckman. Andy's been my friend, my compatriot in this battle against silver manipulation. He believed in the road to Ruta long, long before other people knew what the hell I was talking about. They all thought I was crazy. Send him an email, Andy, A-N-D-Y, at milesfranklin.com. Go to our affiliates page, and it's on the affiliates page. Andy at milesfranklin.com. He'll get you the best price. If you say you're from the road to Ruta, Bix sent me, do it today. You want physical silver in your own possession. It'll blow away any crypto move, by the way. Now, crypto's spread out over everything. Like right now, Bitcoin's going crazy, right? And all coins are just sitting there. I'll get to that in a second. Silver, you got gold and silver. Those are basically the only two precious metals you should be concerned about. Everything else is not really a precious metal, semi-precious metal. But it's such a tiny, tiny market for precious metals, gold and silver, that they wanted a couple others. So they got platinum and palladium because they made a coin out of platinum. I don't know why it's a precious metal. It's not precious to me. Now, those who invest in it and say, oh, it went up 400%, Bix, you don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't mean it's a precious metal. It means it was rigged. Precious metal has reference to being used as money. When in time was palladium ever used as money? It's more precious in the catalytic converter market. So, yeah, it's precious to them. No, but gold and silver historically, thousands of years, have been money, have been used as a store of value. It will happen again, according to the Road to Ruta documents. Everybody spouting out that they know, oh, here's the new financial system. It's the latest. I watched Jean-Claude and Penny last night, and they're talking about that Kim Gogan chick. I looked at her stuff years ago. I'm like, this is so ridiculous. It's not going to be deciders. Deciders can't decide this thing, and especially not Kim Gogan. Hey, I don't want to laugh, but I've been through it a million times. The quantum financial system, oh yeah, this is Charlie Ward. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. How many times per year do we go through this? And it never happens. Why is that? Because it can't take any deciders. When the old system gets destroyed, and it has to be destroyed, the old system has to be destroyed for a new system to start. Otherwise, they win. So Bitcoin Ben's talk of, oh yeah, we're going to transition over to cryptocurrencies, that cannot happen. It cannot happen because they will maintain control. The old system must be destroyed. The original guys working on the road to Ruta stuff, the original good guys who are now turned into Q and then Trump and then the military, whoever's doing it right now, the good guys behind the scenes who wrote the road to Ruta documents, no. Even in the teacher's guide for the road to Ruta, which I'll show you in a second. I'll show you all this stuff in a second. They state it right there. Not even the Federal Reserve is going to be able to tell people what the new system is. They've got some great ideas, but it has to be accepted by everybody. The entire planet, human beings, not the aliens that control us, not the freaking Rothschilds or Rockefellers or the people above that. It's got to be accepted by the human beings, the human souls that are here. Individuals have to accept it. And they will never accept the IMF create a new currency, the Federal Reserve creating a new currency. And the Federal Reserve even says that in their documents. Oh my God, it's exhausting how many times I have to go through this to explain that no, it can't be decided by other people. Kim Jong-un is not going to be the decider. I'm sorry, Kim. I'm sure you want to be or whatever. Oh my God, the insanity, going through these serious back office machinations of what controls our financial system. Coming from the banking world, 50 million places to poke holes in what she says. I can't believe people actually listen to her truthfully. But hey, I know a lot of you are like, what are you talking about? I know, exactly. What am I talking about? Anyway, silver. Get your hands on physical silver. Get it into your own possession. Because when the price starts going up, people will start buying silver, and all of a sudden you won't be able to get it anywhere. Contact Andy Schechtman today. Cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin is up over 60. Woo woo, 62,000. I think is it near the all-time high? Getting there. It's going to go to 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, a million, blah, 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 as the old system fades or dies. It could instantly do that. Bitcoin tends to run as the altcoins don't do anything, and then the altcoins run, and then the good altcoins run last, like Theta Fuel, and Veritasium's still stuck in jail, and it's just so many things that can drive you crazy. Like watching Bitcoin go up 10% in the last 7 days, you're like, oh, I should have all Bitcoin. And then you'll see Ethereum run up 20% in the next few days at that time. Oh, I should have had Ethereum. Oh, I should have had, well, when Theta went the 40x move last year. I should have had Theta when people weren't in Theta. The fastest way to lose your cryptos is to chase them. You pick the good ones and you hold on for dear life. HODL. Theta is, in my opinion, because it's so necessary for humanity, Theta will be the biggest winner in the long run. How long is that run? I don't know. It could be a day, could be a week, could be a year, could be 2 years, could be 5 years. I do think within 5 years it'll be up over 1,000 per token for Theta. Theta Fuel could be even higher. The T-drop that's coming in February could be even higher. We don't know, but I can tell you this. Without Theta, good luck running the internet. Because you're going to have to throw Wi-Fi towers on every street corner. Theta solves that with a software download. At some point, Samsung and Sony, which are partners with Theta, are going to just download the Edge node on every single TV, flat screen TV, computer, everything they put out there electronically. They're just going to download the Edge node. People are going to run it in the background of the machines and be earning Theta Fuel. It's that simple for mass adoption. It's a software download. Theta is software. It is a utility that can expand broadband massively, and that's the biggest problem with the internet now. The problem with the internet is there's not enough bandwidth for equal education. How can you run an education system on the internet if everybody doesn't have access to the internet, to high-speed internet? And software download globally You know how easy that is to do for Samsung and Sony? Click a mouse. Click a mouse overnight. Your smart TV is upgraded to run the Edge node. Bix, that can't be true. Of course it can be true. It is software. Theta is software. God, I sound like Reggie Middleton. Veritasium is software protocol. Yeah, Veritasium, the hysterical thing, coin market cap. You know, a whole bunch of cryptos have been busted for whatever the SEC wanted them to be busted for. Veritasium, to this day, it is so important that coin market cap has to have this red warning. Out of all these, Ripple and Tether and all these criminal things, EOS, Veritasium to this day has this red warning. What about all the other SEC judgments that have come down? Do any of them have red warnings? No. Who are you working for, CoinMarketCap? Why do they try to scare everybody away from Veritasium? Because it's that important. It's ridiculous. Anyway, what am I buying right now? I'm buying physical silver, and I'm buying Theta and Theta Fuel. They're the cheapest. If you have Bitcoin, yeah, think about the swap. You want to hear something cool? You hear all this news about Bitcoin being accepted by the banking system and these big investors. Oh, I understand Bitcoin. I'm a first mover. Bitcoin's been around for 10 years. I'm a first mover in Bitcoin. These huge money people coming into Bitcoin. Bitcoin. And some dabble into Ethereum, but they can't mentally get past that. Mentally, it was such a hard jump to go to a cryptocurrency. It has to be Bitcoin. For me, this goes back 8 years. It's probably 7 years when I was like anti-Bitcoin. It was a big jump when Cliff explained to me how Bitcoin represented digital scarcity and what that meant as relation to like gold and silver and stuff like that. And decentralization and immutable blockchains and all that stuff. It was a huge jump for me. The big money people who control the trillions of dollars today, they're just making that jump. From there, they will go to, oh my God, it's not just Bitcoin. There are things much, 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 much better than Bitcoin. And they will jump to things like Theta and Theta Fuel. And trillions of dollars will come out of Bitcoin running into all these other cryptos that are better than Bitcoin. And that's the way it works. The big money right now, they can only get approval for Bitcoin because everything else is crazy because they don't fucking understand it. They don't understand that the world is changing. The world has changed, as Cliff High says. The world has already changed. How are you going to deal with it? We're never going back to where we were. Ever, 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 ever. It's just going to get worse for the old system. So you better get your ass off the couch, go get yourself physical silver, and get yourself knowledgeable about cryptocurrencies. Go open a Coinbase account and start. Because if you don't start now, you're going to try to start when the fire hose is pointed right at the Dixie cup, trying to fill it up when everybody else is saying, oh my God, I didn't know. How could you not know how important cryptocurrencies and crypto technology companies like Theta, have I said Theta, or Litecoin to take over the means of exchange? One of the few, I think. Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin. If you like Bitcoin, you're going to love Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash because they're faster, better, stronger, everything. The Bitcoin is, I get it. The big money is now finally, after 10 years, discovering Bitcoin. But they're going to quickly, hopefully, if they have a half a brain about them, say, oh my God, it's just so much bigger than Bitcoin and the Bitcoin blockchain. This is so much bigger. And there's so many better crypto investment opportunities out there. Theta being the number one. They all will. It's just a matter of time. It like the time it took me from 2000, I got in 2012, 2013. And I sold all my Bitcoin when it went from $1,000 down to $200 and I sold everything. Oh, Bitcoin's dead. Oh my God, did that cost me? I refused to fall into their games again. And then in 2017 crash, I knew I was going to hodl all the way, but I didn't know it was going to be the U.S. government and Trump and Mnuchin. Was it Mnuchin? Yeah. And Mnuchin is taking the Mt. Gox Bitcoin and slamming the price of Bitcoin to save their sorry-ass US dollar. They did it. Christian Carl, the head of the CFTC, admitted it. And then Rustin Benham, the guy who took over later, admitted crushing the silver run in January and February of this year. Who are these people at the SEC? How in what world are they trying to protect investors, which is their only job? Their job is not to tell us what to invest in. Gary Gensler, as smart as that little fucker is, now he heads the SEC. Who was the head of the CFTC when JP Morgan, who has admitted it and got busted for rigging the silver market, who was the head of that organization? Gary Gensler, the same guy. Complete 100% failure at identifying JP Morgan rigging the silver market. Now it's known and he is put as the head of the SEC. Bart Chilton said it was a political decision not to bust JP Morgan at the time. What does that mean? That means Gary Gensler is playing fucking political games. Gary Gensler, you need to stand down, my friend. Gary Gensler is not good for America, is not good for humanity. I like the guy. I watched all of his MIT discussions on cryptocurrencies. He's a smart guy, but he doesn't understand America. He doesn't understand free markets. He's trying to control everything from his perch, and he's going to throw down edicts. Here's a great example. Where is it? Oh, I don't know if I saved it. Right here. No, that's not. Here it is. Gary Gensler met with Jay Clayton in 2018 and was instrumental in XRP hostility. Now, I am not a fan of XRP. I think it's a ridiculous joke, and they're making money every time they pump it for their quantum financial system. It's all bullshit. That's how they got out, or they're getting out, the owners of XRP. But it was Gary Gensler is said to have held a sitting in 2018 with Jay Clayton, the head of the SEC at the time, to discuss cryptocurrencies. And he was fond of Bitcoin and hostile toward XRP and Ethereum. Gary Gensler, it is not your job to tell humanity what investments are good and what investments are bad. It is not the job of the SEC to pick and choose which cryptocurrencies will survive and which will not. The SEC is the problem, not the solution. They provide a false sense of confidence. It's the SEC's fault that there's massive rehypothecation of stocks and bonds. Do you think that everybody owns an Apple stock actually owns that stock? They don't. They don't. These brokerage houses don't have to settle at all. They have a continual flow. Nobody knows who owns anything anymore. So you have rehypothecation, even U.S. bonds. Massively more owners than there are bonds out there. And even though they're printing bonds like it's going out of style, that's why the Fed keeps having to buy them, because they don't know who owns them. It's a fraud. It's a con. And Gary Gensler, he will speak well to this issue. But Gary, you are not the boss of me. You are not the boss of anybody. If anything, you hurt free markets, and free markets are the only way to freedom. Regulators are not the way to freedom. Regulators hurt freedom because it makes people feel like we're running a solid, sound system. We aren't. They should be afraid to buy stocks and bonds and cryptos. They should be massively afraid. And that's how you clean it up. You don't clean it up with regulators who give you a false sense of confidence. You clean it up by the criminals destroying themselves, the stupid investors losing everything. Don't invest in markets don't invest in exchanges that trade 1,000 Bitcoin per second. That's a fraud. None of these exchanges have the Bitcoin or cryptos that they exchange. How do you get rid of that? You don't put in the SEC to put guidelines around it. That's how we got in the same problem that we are right now. You don't go to those exchanges. Pretty soon they're out of business. Everybody's laughing at them. It's like BitConnect. Does anybody feel sorry for investors in BitConnect? No, everybody knew it was fraud. Everybody was screaming it was a fraud. Anybody who got into it shouldn't be investing. But they feel confident that the system's going to work because they have regulators. How's that done for silver over the past 170 years? When the regulators are bought and paid for, it's over for freedom. It is over for freedom. You want to destroy America? Put in the regulators. Anyway, that's my rant. First ever Bitcoin ETF will start trading Tuesday. Doesn't that sound good? It's complete bullshit. They aren't dealing in any Bitcoin. Zero. And I talked about this yesterday or the day before. 70% of it is US dollars. Treasuries. 30% is Bitcoin futures. It's just stupid. And yet Bitcoin goes up because of it, or so they say. This is the worst thing that could ever happen to cryptocurrencies is crypto derivatives. And that's exactly what this is. But hey, this is allowed by Gary Gensler now. Thanks, Gary. I bet I know why you're allowing derivatives in Bitcoin. And this guy, Jorge Torino, one of the same guys who went after Reggie Middleton, is now in charge of the Ripple XRP investigations. Deep state all the way. Yale, skull and bones. Jorge, stand down. He's the senior trial counsel for the SEC. He needs to go away. I'm not going to get into his personal life, but he needs to go away. I just saw Skull and Bones, and then some of the cases he's worked on. I'm like, holy shit, really? So this was the interview I saw Jean-Claude, and Penny talking about Penny's new look-see, which are great. Penny's awesome. I'm a big fan of Penny. How she got sucked into the Kim Gugan reality, it's not a reality. It's fake. But I understand. There's certain, you want this stuff to be real. But at the same time, I've listened to Penny for a long time. She's like, it's up to you the people. It's up to us. Kim Gogan is not part of us. That's her deal. That's her fantasy, or that's her reality she's living in. We are living in our reality, and our reality says everybody's got to accept the new financial system. And that's almost impossible. On the road to Ruta, through the road to Ruta documents, that's exactly what Ruta did. She reallocated the flowers. After this system fails, and it has to fail, it has to go away because these criminals need to be removed and money needs to be reallocated. Who's going to trust anybody to reallocate money, especially Kim Go-Gun? It's bullshit. It's bullshit. But hey, go down the path again, just like the Charlie Ward stuff and the XRP stuff, and just go down the path. You're going to, cry tears if you really believed in it at the end of the day. And the questioning whether Trump was a good guy or a bad guy. I did that day one. I didn't question whether he was a good guy or a bad guy. I knew he was a good guy, but I also knew he was doing things to keep the system going. He was rigging markets. Number one thing that pissed me off about Trump, he was rigging the markets. I kind of get why he did it. He had to keep the things going to take down the bad guys, but he didn't take them all down. At least we don't know that he did. No, I think Trump's absolutely a good guy or working with the good guys. I always called him the bull in the china shop. I voted for Ron Paul 4 times. I wrote him in. I had to write him in because he wasn't even running. He would have been great as a president other than one thing. He wasn't the bull in the china shop. He would have got eaten alive by the deep state. Trump, he's an asshole. The buddy I worked with when I was in banking, I worked for a leasing company. We leased Trump, the Trump helicopter. And my buddy, the guy I worked office to office with, he was in charge of the end of lease with Trump. I wanted it, and they said, no, Bix, we're going to give it to this guy. But so he goes out there and meets with Trump. Oh, he was such a nice guy. Yeah, I went to his office. This is the first meeting. He brought me up to his office and just the nicest guy ever. I go, careful. He goes, no. We talked to him on the phone, all this stuff. And, it came down to, okay, how much, it was the end of lease. Trump was trying to buy the helicopter. And it was a fair market value lease, so you can buy it for fair market value. And my buddy's like, no, Mr. Trump and I get along great. I have, the blue book for helicopters, which has the price. It's kind of like a car, except, there's little tweaks with maintenance and things like that. So he goes, I got the blue book price. I'm going to give him a little off the wholesale value of this because we're friends. So he goes over to Trump's office to present Trump with the numbers. Oh, you're such a great guy. He goes, I couldn't believe when I gave him the number, he ranted at me for 20 minutes and you're a fucking shyster. And my buddy's like, I was like shriveling as he's screaming at me. Oh, it was just hysterical. But that's what he does. That's when Pelosi and Schumer went to the Trump's office, came out all rattled and say, he's unstable, because he reamed them a new one. The wrath of Trump. He was a Road to Ruta, probably still is a Road to Ruta follower back in the day. So, no, I don't think there's going to be a Kim Gogan style rejigger of the financial system. It doesn't resonate with me at all, knowing what I know about what we can do, the other things we can do. There can't be deciders. So you need everybody to buy into the same system, at least in the United States. I don't think you could do it around the world, other than maybe gold, if that's all there is. Gold and silver, the historical monetary metals. But some countries don't have any gold and silver. The United States has massive amounts of gold. So no, this is all... Is it MK Ultra? Is it Mind? It's kind of like I think it's a mixture of everything, but there's so many things that are just wrong with what she says but she believes them. So whatever. We go back to the Road to Ruta. If you go to the Road to Ruta resources, you'll come to this page. This is where I found the Road to Ruta information. The Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. It's still there. The Wishes and Rainbows comic books about going back to a gold standard. This was written originally in 1981, and then it was updated in 2007, right before the crash, in 2008, which was the first attempt for the good guys to take out the bad guys. We almost got there. The next one is approaching. So be prepared for a monster. And what was the new financial system? Okay, Bix, if you don't believe in the quantum financial system, and you don't believe in the Iraqi Dinar, and you don't believe in Kim Gogan, and you don't believe in the prosperity funds, and you don't believe in the white hats and the brown hats and the purple hats and the Chinese royal families. What do you believe in, Bix? I don't know. I don't believe that there will be any deciders. And how can there be no deciders? We have to all decide. But how can we all decide? In America, just America, because I live in America, I know the Americans have been in charge of this financial system since Alan Greenspan invented the first computer programs to invent the financial system in the early 1970s with his mentor, Arthur Burns, the head of the Fed. I have outlined the whole thing. The only way to do it is what Greenspan and friends said, here's the way to do it, but we don't know if the world's going to agree to it. And that is through what Ruta did with these colored flowers. Let me show you. If you go to page, so the mayor tells Ruta, hey, you got to figure out on this page 14, this is the Federal Reserve. The mayor tells Ruta, hey, you found this gold or you found this money and the whole world wants it. You got to figure out how to allocate it because everybody wants it. How do you allocate money when the old money's gone and you're starting fresh? So Ruta sits there and in the original Road to Ruta comics in the 1980s, she wrote a formula called On the Road to the Golden Age. In this one, she writes 11 plus 9. That's how big 9/11 was. There was so much going on behind the scenes financially. But Ruta does figure out a way to allocate it that most of the people agree to. And this is probably what they'll do. At last, she returns to Pebbleton and summons everyone to the town square. I have listed everyone, from the oldest Pebble person to the youngest Pebble baby. Ruta calls the first 3 names and hands each a flower, or hands each an allocation of money. When those 3 flowers lose their colors, we will use their tears to plant more. So he did it using the petrodollar. That's the way he did it. But the way he's going to do it next is exactly how he did it before. Social Security. In the United States, They cap Social Security, I think, at $110,000, $120,000. So you pay into Social Security for that much. Everyone's like, Bix, what are you talking about? Social Security doesn't pay for anything. When all money is gone and new money has to be reallocated, that will be the most valuable money. Whether it's gold, whether it's silver, whether it's fiat, it doesn't matter what it is. The old money will be gone. And how can the old money go away? We have a $2 quadrillion or $3 quadrillion derivative market that will destroy everything. I hope everybody knows that. I've talked about that for years. So Ruda's plan was we're going to reallocate money according to Social Security balances. That way, the people who've worked the most and put in the most effort in the United States have the higher Social Security balances. They get a little more. Everybody gets a base, whatever that base is, probably according to age again. But everybody would agree to something like that. Not everybody, but most people in the United States. When you're sitting there saying, oh my God, do we have Gary Gensler decide? Do we have Joe Biden decide? Do we have Trump decide? Do we have the IMF decide? Do we have the World Bank? Nobody, there's going to be no deciders. So if everybody has a stake like Social Security, why do you think they call it the Social Security lockbox? It can't be touched. It can't be reinvested. That is how they're going to reallocate. And it'll help the elderly a lot more than it'll help the new guys. The younger people, they shouldn't get a lot because they haven't bought into the system enough. But the kicker on all this was in the Road to Ruta Teacher's Guide. So in 2007, they released on January 1st, I was there, the Fed, Boston. They released the Road to Ruta Teacher's Guide with the Wishes and Rainbows comic and Banking Basics. The Teacher's Guide has 40 questions about will the people accept it? Will people accept the new money? Will they accept it? Will they accept it? And there's so many reasons why people will question whether or not that's the best way. All those reasons would never come to the conclusion of what Kim Gogan's saying. Not even close. Not even nearly close. Or XRP, or the quantum financial system, or any of the other ones. Because it's not the people who are deciding. What are the people in America fully invested in already? Social Security. If you've worked in the United States of America, you have a Social Security number, and your earnings have been taxed with Social Security money. Will it be gold? Probably. Not gold backed. Gold backed is ridiculous. It will never work because remember, trust is gone. I mean gold as in you can go into a bank and cash $20 for a $20 gold piece. Just like back in the 100 years ago. Because trust is gone. It'll probably start out with, hey, everybody go to your post office. Not your banks will be gone. They're all derivative, either deep into derivatives or derivative related, meaning their customers bank with JP Morgan, who banks with XYZ bank. So when those banks go down, they're all going to run to the other banks, which will destroy the other banks because they're fractionally reserved. I hope this kind of makes sense, but I saw the Jean-Claude interview with Penny. And Jean-Claude's classic. I love the man. He says, we have to ask the questions. But he half believes it as he's asking the questions. If you ask me. I know he's going to get me on and say, oh, we need to talk about this, Bix. We have to ask the questions. We have to have the conversation. Well, we don't if you spend too much time looking at the crap and you poke 1,000 holes in it. It's like, how long do we have to ask the questions? I know he's mad at me now. Okay, moving on. Well, by the way, you can find all these comic books and all kinds of stuff at roadtoruta.com at the educational resources part. Here's where they found the Grand Canyon gold. Vast tell of riches in the Grand Canyon. That one discovery back in the early 1900s shaped the entire world. It's the whole reason we're dealing with all this bullshit. That discovery and the decision by Woodrow Wilson to lock up the Grand Canyon of all that gold. It would have been chaotic back then, let me tell you. The United States only had 120 million ounces of gold in circulation, and gold was money. And they find billions and billions and billions of ounces in the Grand Canyon. It would have destroyed the global monetary system. I think there was only 300 million in the whole world circulating. Ounces, not tons, ounces. And they were finding billions. and billions of ounces in the Grand Canyon. Again, go to roadtoroot.com resources. Okay, that's my rant for today. So back to, get yourself some silver. Silver and gold will go 1-to-1. Gold will still go up, even though there's not 250,000 tons that has been mined. That's bullshit. That's Jeffrey Christian. It's more like 2 or 3 million tons. I don't know that number, and that's a problem when you have money. When you have financial assets, scarcity is key. That's what Ruda says the whole time. It's all about scarcity. If you don't know the scarcity of gold, you don't know how much gold there is, how are you going to value it? With silver, that's the same thing. Hey guys, sorry about that. A disturbance in the force. I don't know what happened. I was going off on my rant today, I guess, and they cut me off. So I'm not going to risk talking anymore. Hope I don't get kicked off YouTube again. But go to roadtoroot.com, join the private road. We're giving away 50 T-Fuel right now with every subscription. Come check us out. I'm going to stop recording before this thing blows up. I'll talk to you guys later.